Welcome to Kansas Speedway. The 2013 season ends right here, and a lot of storylines and a lot of drivers we're going to be keeping our eye on tonight, especially Corey LaJoie making just his 5th start of the 2013 season, and 3 of those 4 he ended up in victory lane. John West Townley started off with a bang in 2013, winning at Daytona. He would like to bookend the 2013 season with a win tonight. Dylan Kwasniewski makes his first start in the ARCA Racing Series and already has gotten off to a great start. Won the pole earlier today. He'll bring the field to the green flag. And Frank Kimmel has claimed his 10th championship in the ARCA Racing Series, looking for that 80th win tonight.
Since the drop of the green in Daytona, it's been a breathtaking season for the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards.
John West Townley will win at Daytona!
The road to a championship has been compelling for the youth and veterans alike. Driven to distinguish, it has been an acquisition of ARCA Series accolades. Records have been shattered, reverberating within racing circles across the nation.
Kimmel will capture his 79th win!
Coming into Kansas, Kimmel will capture his 10th series title. However, there is still a plethora of honors to hone in on. With nothing to lose and everything to gain, racing in this world-class facility will ferment ferocious competition. For the ARCA Racing Series, there is no finer place for fruition. Don't miss the captivating season finale from Kansas Speedway.
And it all ends right here at Kansas Speedway as we're about to get underway with the Kansas Lottery. 98.9. Just under 100 laps of racing, just under 150 miles to determine who will be the final winner in the 2013 season. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons back with you for our final race. And obviously, the biggest story we have to talk about is Frank Kimmel, a 10th championship and so close. He's tied currently with Iggy Katona for wins.
Yeah, little did he know back in the 60s when he was following his dad, Bill, to the races in the ARCA Racing Series that he would win a race in 1994 and then go on to win 78 more of those, looking for win number 80 to tie Iggy Katona, a record that nobody thought would ever be even gotten close to, but here he is on the verge of that. He's already got that 10th championship, which is certainly a record. What a tremendous career Frank Kimmel has had, and very deserving of all the accolades he gets.
I touched on a few of the names that we've got to keep our eye on, but there's a lot of storylines for tonight's race.
There really is. Chad Boat's been very, very good in the series this season, along with Scott Lagasse. He's a 2-time winner, making his first start of the year. You mentioned Dylan Kwasniewski. He's our K&N Pro Series East Division point leader right now with 1 race to go, and he's going to give it a try here in ARCA Series, starting from the pole, so he's got a great shot at that. What a great field of cars we have. I really believe it's probably the best field we've had this year.
And with more stories, we've got to go on to pit road. We've got Jim Trado and Ray Dunlap down there. We'll start with Jim.
Rick, you alluded to how fast Corey LaJoie's been on 1.5 mile and intermediate type tracks. Well, Corey LaJoie was fast today in practice, but hit the wall in qualifying. It's the same car he's been able to win in 3 intermediate track runs. He began the season by winning at July at Chicagoland Speedway. This same car also went to victory lane at Pocono Raceway. They call it Chester for a good reason. This car is the only car in their shop. He's got a Roush Yates engine in there with Petty's help, but he does a lot of work himself, and he made it stand in September at Kentucky Speedway. This has been a fast race car for him, but not without incident. The right side of this car had to be rebuilt as he brushed the wall in his final run in practice. The right recorder panel, the right rear crush panel, interior suspension components as well had to be changed on the car that starts second here. LaJoie one to watch here on these big racetracks, but he may have a bit of work to do to get this car just right after those repairs. Ray Dunlap?
You know, Jim, tonight's a very special night here at the Kansas Speedway. After more than 50 years, James Harvey Hilton will hang up his helmet as a driver. And earlier this week, I had a chance to go down to his race shop and sit down with him in Inman, South Carolina. My number 1 question was pretty simple. At age 79, how can you stay in great shape to be a race car driver?
It has to be 24/7. I can't afford to be sick. 79 years old, they tell me you're not supposed to be in a race car, but I don't feel 79.
Richard Petty and you had these incredible battles through the middle part of the 70s. Guess what? Richard Petty retired 21 years ago.
It makes me feel good, it really does. No, I haven't won, you know, a lot of races. I didn't win a championship. How many people you know that lives his entire life racing what he wants to do? And that's what I want to do, race. And I've been able to do that my entire life. And I've never had a public job, not for over a week at a time or something. It's in my heart for the rest of my life.
It's so cool to hear the stories from James Harvey Hilton, and as he climbs in a brand new race car tonight, this is a vehicle that was supplied by Empire Racing. They've got a Roush Yates engine, Hoosier tires donated. There's a lot of people in this ARCA garage who have come together to support a great race car driver. Guess what, folks? You may not remember his career, but he finished second in the points in the Sprint Cup Series 3 different times, twice to Richard Petty. James Harvey Hilton will make his final ride tonight here at Kansas City.
Great stuff, Ray. Back in 1966, James Harvey Hilton, Rookie of the Year, finished second to Richard Petty in the point standings. We'll fire the engines when we come back to Kansas. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Fox Sports 1 is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. There may be another race tonight. The race against weather is a possibility as it keeps creeping in from the west. Kansas Lottery 98.9. With the drivers strapped into their cars, we'll look at our Menards Pull Award presented by Ansel. Dylan Kwasniewski making his first start driving for Venturini Motorsports, who posted an impressive lap, Phil.
He certainly did. He's been fast since they unloaded the truck. Had never been here before, but we obviously know from his K&N experience he's a quick learner.
Our Scott Rookie Challenge, we've got to look at our top two. One of those being obviously the 55 of Dylan Kwasniewski is a rookie considered for this race, but the 25 of Justin Boston in the driver's seat to capture the Scott Brand Rookie Challenge. 20 career ARCA starts, hoping to lock up the rookie title this evening.
Okay, right now Mason Mingus would have to be the top finishing rookie, plus have 3 other rookies in between he and Justin Boston. He has to beat him by 4 spots in order to win this championship, because they only take the top 15 finishes. So in order for him to do it, he's going to have to be the top finishing rookie in this race.
And that's why we race.
That's
On
right.
paper, it looks like it could be pretty imposing and difficult to accomplish, but you never know what happens until that green flag drops.
That's right.
So once again, the pre-race ceremonies continuing. Drivers have already strapped into their cars. Frank Kimmel, when he strapped into the car earlier for practice today, that gave him the opportunity to claim he was here, gave him the lock on his 10th championship.
Yeah, what an amazing career for Frank Kimmel. I grew up watching his dad race against my brother. Frank was around the racetrack as a youngster and just loved the sport. And that's what I like about Frank Kimmel. This is a racer's racer. Been racing his whole life, and he deserves everything he gets here.
And his family has been a part of this. I mean, his brother Bill was a part of so many of those races, and now still looking for that 80th win to potentially get in front of Iggy Katona as far as the winningest driver ever in the history of the ARCA Racing Series. Well, they're strapped in. That means we just need to fire the engines. Let's go trackside for our command.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here to give the most famous awards in motorsports, please welcome Deputy Director, Kansas Lottery, Shireen Jones-Sontag.
Drivers, start your engine!
How about James Harvey Hilton?
There it is.
Start his engine for the final time.
You know, he was a little emotional. I talked to him in the garage, and he said, this is what I've done all my life. I mean, I really love getting behind the wheel and driving, but he said, there is another chapter. I'm still going to be coming to the races. I just am going to be in a mentoring position and an owning position.
And so many people came together to make this effort for him. His final effort is so special. And he's got a throwback paint scheme from back in the early 70s.
Spectacular situation tonight. James Harvey Hilton making his final start. And that guy, Frank Kimmel, claiming his 10th championship. Welcome back. It all culminates right here at the Kansas Speedway and the Kansas Lottery 98.9. Cars beginning to roll around this mile-and-a-half racetrack. Want to take a look at the particulars of this track.
See, a mile and a half in length. The corners have progressive banking from 17 degrees at the bottom up to 20 degrees at the top, and that will create some great side-by-side racing. You see the front straightaway about 2,700 feet long.
A race analysis. This distance just under 100 laps, meaning just under 150 miles. That pit window, 65 to 70 laps, means only one stop. If they feel like that'll do it, one stop will make it.
Yeah, and all the guys say the tires are lasting long. They actually get faster as you run them.
Before the green flag flies, let's go back to pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, I love the diversity in this series. We talk about the different tracks they run, from short tracks to super speedways, dirt tracks to road courses. The young drivers, the old drivers like James Harvey. But let's look at some of the milestones from this season. It's been an incredible year. We had an absolutely cool story with the 50th race at Daytona. How about Ken Schrader? He's the oldest winner in series history. He got a couple of victories. James Harvey Hilton making his start tonight, the oldest driver ever in the series. The youngest winner was Kyle Benjamin. And we also had our youngest super speedway winner this year with Chase Elliott. A lot of different drivers, a lot of great stories. It's been a fantastic year, and tonight we cap it off right here at Kansas. Jim Trado.
And Ray, you talk about milestones. Let's talk about the youth in this series. 8 drivers tonight are age 21 or younger, including both drivers on our front row. These drivers have put together their time and effort at a very young age to progress to this level. One driver in specific will probably finish second in the overall championship standings. Mason Mingus in the number 32 machine graduated high school in May. Foregoed his whole wrestling playoffs, if you will, for a state championship run to become a race driver. Moving to Mooresville with the Wintron team. This team battled back. While winless, they've had a chance to run with the best. They've learned a lot from Frank Kimmel. They're happy to finish second to him in the points. They want to win desperately here. But this 18-year-old Mingus certainly needs shall we say, a nod of the Fox Sports cap because of the effort they put together in a great run to second in the national championship points, and really this driver's first season in a full-bodied stock car.
It has been very impressive. Jim Trado, as we want to ride along with a few different drivers. One of those drivers that will be carrying our car, or our onboard camera, will be Justin Boston in the 25. He is going to start in this race 17th, never been to victory lane, hopes to get there tonight.
We're going to ride along with Mason Mitchell. He jumped in this car 8 races ago, top 10 finishes every race, including second last time out in the Happy Cheeks Toyota.
Another Mason Mingus will start 10th in this one. He's finished second 3 times, but also hasn't been to victory lane yet.
Spencer Gallagher in this great pink-looking Allegiant Air Travel Chevrolet here will start from the 12th spot. He has 2 runner-up finishes this year, including a 3rd last time out. Let's see if we can talk to our champion, Frank Kimmel. Hey, Frank Kimmel. Phil Parsons up in the Fox Sports booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Bill.
Buddy, back in the 60s when you were following your dad, Bill, to all these ARCA races all over the country, all over the Midwest, did you have any idea that you would be here with 10 championships in a possible race to history here, beating Iggy?
No, absolutely not, Bill. Never dreamt I'd get to do it at all. Once we started doing it, never thought I could win. And then we started winning, and it's been pretty phenomenal. But
well, Frank, we know you have a great shot to get that 80th win tonight, but you've had a great career, and I know it's not ending tonight, but we just want to, everyone here at Fox Sports wants to congratulate you on a great season and a great career, bud.
Thank you, and it all comes back to the team, Phil. These guys have worked their butts off for me, and brought the best race cars I've ever had, so need to go out and try to finish this thing on a great note tonight.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you.
Dorsport's been around a lot of racing, been a part of a lot of different teams, but that will be their first championship with Frank Kimmel. In qualifying just a few hours ago, issues for a few different drivers. The first car on the racetrack was Justin Boston. He got turned around.
He will have to go to the back of the pack. Grant Enfinger not quite as fortunate. Without a backup car, Grant made considerable contact with the outside safer barrier, and he had to withdraw.
Also with issues on the track, the 15 of John West Townley. He got sideways coming out of turn number 2, decided to check up and run again, and he was able to go back out and put up the 14th best time in qualifying.
But he had to change those tires that were flat spotted, so he will also go to the back of the pack for the start.
Field 2x2 once again. This time they will be seeing the green flag. Dylan Kwasniewski. What are your expectations for that young man tonight?
I think he's going to be good. We know that he did an amazing job in the West Series and won the championship in his 2nd year. He's leading the East points here with 1 race to go. He hasn't found anything that he's not been able to do. He's been fast from the time they unloaded, but it's going to be a great race. He's got Corey LaJoie, as you talked about, 3 wins already this year to his outside.
A lot of competition that he will have to fend off if he wants to get to victory lane in his first ever start in the ARCA Racing Series. It's the season finale. Green flag in the air. We're underway from Kansas. Great start for the 17 of Corey LaJoie. He's able to take the lead on the outside, but fighting back on the inside. Here comes that big move by the 84 of Chad Boat. Oh, and contact early as they come into turn number 2.
Well, they're not wasting any time.
I mentioned the possibility of precipitation or rain off to our west, and they have been fighting right since the drop of the green flag. Scott Legacy Jr. jumps out front.
Scott's a two-time winner in this series. Look at Corey LaJoie making it 3 wide.
LaJoie down to the apron, almost into the grass as he tries to take third.
Looks like he's got it. A nice pass by Corey LaJoie. How about Scott Legacy Jr.? What did he take advantage of those guys battling side by side?
What a start for Scott. Scott already a success. He's won twice, most recently Chicago back in 2008, but he did win here in 07, so trying to repeat that feat.
Big time battle art behind them. There's Chad Boat, the 84 that leads that battle. There's Mason Mingus and Frank Kimmel side by side.
Mr. Gallagher in the 23 went all the way down to the apron as well.
Nice job by that 88 car of Justin Allison. He's making his debut here. That's the grandson of Donnie Allison making his first ARCA Racing Series start.
Definitely a family sport. These two continue to run side by side. Kimmel looks as though he's going to hug that white line as Mason Mingus in the 32 has the momentum on the high side. Not able to clear completely the 44 of Kimmel, though.
A little bit different conditions for these guys. Remember, they did all their practicing and qualifying during the daytime. Here it is, the racetrack's cooling off. They have a few challenges ahead of them to try to make some adjustments on these cars. And remember, more than likely, only one pit stop.
The other thing they might be battling is potential bad weather that everyone has been keeping their eye on to the west of us, wanting to get up front as quickly as they can. And Kimmel looks as though he has the advantage just for a moment over Mason Mingus, but now Mingus battles back on the outside.
He might have had him cleared just for a moment, but he gave Mason some room on the outside. Mason fought back. Now here comes Frank back on the inside.
Since the drop of the green flag, these two have been fighting for position. Out front of the field, it's Scott Legacy Jr., Corey LaJoie running second, Dylan Kwasniewski is third, Chad Boat fourth, and then the fight for fifth right here. Kimmel in the 44 on the inside, Mason Mingus in the 32 on the outside.
Neither one of these guys wants to give an inch here.
They continue to ride side by side. Justin Allison just behind him in the 88. Spencer Gallagher running in the 8th spot. Tom Hessert is 9th, and Stephen Matthews rounds out our top 10.
Stephen Matthews making his third start in the Rulo Brothers car. Already lapping some cars here. That's Scott Legacy Jr. About a second-half lead right now over Corey LaJoie.
Fort Knox Gun Vaults joining Scott Legacy Jr.'s team on the hood of that race car. Had a big smile on his face. I was talking with him also earlier. He mentioned he got into dirt track racing, had the Boy Scouts of America build him a late model. He gave him the frame. They built a late model. He said he went out and absolutely destroyed the competition. He said they did such a great job. He's having so much fun racing dirt. But he said he really loves being a part of this stock car family.
Looks like that 17 of Corey LaJoie is moving in on him now. Right now, Corey's only being shown about 3/4 of a second behind.
So Corey LaJoie trying to close the gap. Scott Legacy was able to get out front, but it was a hard ride getting up there. A lot of beating and banging since the drop of the green flag. Now that we have settled that out just a bit, it's Scott Legacy out in front of the field. The gap between 1 and 2 is now just 0.7 of a second. Scott Legacy Jr. leading the Kansas Lottery 98.9. Haven't completed 10 laps of racing yet, and it's been Legacy dominating up front. Corey LaJoie trying to reel him in. A good battle for 9th. Tom Hessert in that 77 on the outside.
Mason Mitchell, the 82 we talked about on the inside. How about John West Townley? Had to go to the back of the pack because of a tire change. Now he's on the verge of getting back in the top 10.
Already made his way up into the 10th spot now, just behind Tom Hessert. Mason Mitchell drops back into the 11th position. And now it looks as though John West Townley is going to make the move on the outside. He will easily get by Tom Hessert and keep his march going toward the front.
There's Mason Mitchell in the 82. How about Will Kimmel? The 69 car jumps on the inside of Mason Mitchell.
Will Kimmel finished second in 2011. Also had pretty good run earlier this year at Mobile, where he finished third. And now trying to make the move to inside of Hesser.
Going after. How about Justin Boston, the 25 car, making it 3 wide in the inside.
Boston checks up just a bit as Will Kimmel able to squirt out in front. Tom Hesser drops back, and Justin Boston moving toward the front as well. Venturini Motorsports has been so impressive in 2013.
They certainly have. They have a lot of wins with a lot of different drivers here. Justin Boston hasn't quite got to victory lane. Had an outstanding season, but just hasn't put it all together to get the victory lane.
And he's on the verge of capturing that Rookie of the Year title. Again, you played out how Mason Mingus would have to win that title. He would have to finish ahead of all the other rookies and have at least 3 rookies in between he and Justin Boston to claim that title.
And some of the rookies he has to beat: Corey LaJoie, Dylan Kwasniewski.
Yeah,
exactly.
Guys that are in front of him now. And look at that move. Corey LaJoie ducks to the apron, trying to get by that 22 of Scott Lagasse Jr. Can't quite make the pass.
We just about got there, though. Now look at Corey on the inside. Lagasse slides up just a little bit.
Battle for the lead. And he's got a lot of lap traffic that he's going to have to deal with. LaJoie on the inside, Scott Lagasse Jr. on the outside.
What are they going to do when they get down to the corner here? There's Milko Duna, the 35.
Milko Duna running right in the middle of the track. We'll see what's the preferred line. They're going to split her on either side, and so it's Corey LaJoie going all the way down to the apron. Scott Lagasse Jr. staying on the track side by side as they cross the stripe.
We can count Corey the leader that time. Washington's getting a little bit loose down there on the bottom.
Lagasse battles back and takes the lead back away from Corey LaJoie.
You mentioned it, Rick. These guys may be racing for lap 50 here. They know there's inclement weather in the area. They don't want to give anything up.
And the other thing that is difficult now, a lot of times you'll look up to the sky to see if the clouds are looking darker or if there's a possibility of rain coming. But at night, you can't see those clouds. You've got to rely on the radar.
Yeah, we didn't have radar back 30 years ago that we could look at.
And right now, they are racing for all they're worth, as is the 44 of Frank Kimmel, capturing that 10th championship, but still hungry for his 80th win. A little contact there.
Yeah, Mason Mingus actually ran into Bobby Gerhart there in the 5 car. Just a little bit very fortunate that didn't turn him around.
Mingus able to stay out in front of the 44 of Frank Kimmel. So that battle within the battle taking place. Scott Lagasse Jr. able to hold off Corey LaJoie for a couple more laps. Tomorrow it's another full day, beginning with 20th ranked Texas Tech taking on Kansas, followed by Washington State and Cal on Fox Sports 1. Then on Fox, it's a Big 12 matchup between TCU and 11th ranked Oklahoma. And then in the nightcap, West Virginia battle 17th ranked Baylor on Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports is your home for college football all season long. Battle for the lead continues to heat up. Corey LaJoie all over the back bumper, that 22 of Scott Lagasse Jr.
Yeah, Dylan Kwasniewski's only about a half a dozen car lengths behind Corey LaJoie. We have a great 3-car battle here.
I talked with Billy Venturini, general manager of Venturini Motorsports. I asked him, can you rank as Corey LaJoie moves to the inside, trying to take that lead away from Scott Lagasse Jr. Not able to do it there. But I asked Billy Venturini, I said, how would you... Oh, and around goes the 22 and the 17 also into the wall. The 55 gets by. That'll bring out our first caution.
It looked like Corey got in the back of the 22 of Scott Lagasse.
The 2 battling for the lead. They get into the wall. Dylan Kwasniewski gets by.
Corey went down so low to try to get by that lap car as well as Scott Lagasse. He had a bad angle into the corner, so his car wanted to go straight. He got into the back of Scott Lagasse. Way too early to be doing that.
These 2 guys had 2 of the fastest cars here, and you see the damage to the right side of the 17. We already have seen the damage to the 22. A lot of work it'll take for those 2 to be competitive. Probably not going to happen again tonight.
Yeah, certainly not going to happen for Scott Lagasse in the 22. You see all the damage, and it's not going to happen for Corey LaJoie either. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just take that car right onto the garage area, and that leaves the lead for Dylan Kwasniewski.
Dylan Kwasniewski was running in the 2nd or 3rd spot. Take a look. That was after they started to go across the start-finish line and headed into turn number 1.
Watch the angle when he gets down to the corner. Then he gets back in the throttle. He's able to overcome it. And now he gets in the throttle just a little bit too quick and runs in the back of Lagasse.
And both of them get up into the wall as the 55 is able to slide through on the bottom of the track. Look at the contact just just so slight, but it lifts that back into the 22 up. Jim Trado.
And the hope for a win now turns to repair damage here. The right side has caved in. Harold Howley, veteran crew chief in NASCAR, now Joey Coulter's crew chief in the Truck Series. He helps out on the weekends when Corey goes racing. He's telling the team, make sure you check the right front brake duct. Make sure you check all the right side. They rebuilt this right side of this car after a practice brush with the wall, but this damage is much more extensive. They're now going to look under the hood, make sure that nose is sealed off. A lot of damage here, but you see the Richard Petty Motorsports assist here with the pit box and the over-the-wall crew that pit for Marcus Ambrose on Sundays. He's going to go back out, but no doubt he'll be coming back down as the bear bond is now being pulled out, right?
Jim, I'm getting ready to go to the garage area. Scott Legacy, obviously with a major amount of damage. Not sure there's any chance of them getting that car fixed, but we'll chase him down to the garage and get the driver's perspective.
And meanwhile, Frank Kimmel's going to take advantage of this caution flag to come on down pit road. Again, these guys don't know if this race is going to go the full distance.
Taking advantage of the opportunity to come onto pit road. As the 44, Frank was running up in the top 10. Take another look at what happened. Corey LaJoie coming up off of turn 2, gets into the back of the 22. They both go up into the wall.
Yeah, tough break. Corey had such a good car, as well as Scott Legacy. And again, we're only, right now 19 laps into this race. That was about 18 laps when they made this contact. There's really no sense doing it this quick.
A little too early for this to happen, but it does. And that makes Dylan Kwasniewski your race leader from Kansas. Well, we've got a break. Let's go to LA and Julie Stewart-Binks. On Sunday, it's NASCAR race day, fueled by Sunoco. Right here at the Kansas Speedway. That coverage is going to begin at 10 a.m. Eastern. They'll get you set up for race number 4 of the chase from Kansas Speedway. Another 1.5 mile racetrack. You've got to look at Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson as being your favorites.
Matt won the last 2 Cup races here. Last fall, this race, and this spring.
Corey LaJoie in the 17. So much damage to the right side of that car. Back on pit road. The crew will take another look, try to do some more work. This is how it happened. As they work their way into 1 and 2, splitting a slower lap car. LaJoie was on the inside. Scott Legacy Jr. had the advantage going out of 2, but didn't look as quick off the turn. LaJoie got into the back of it.
Yeah, the thing is that throttle's adjustable. Corey saw him gaining him on the 22. Corey was able to overcome the fact that he got in the corner too straight. This was already past the center when they were getting back in the throttle. Corey was able to get back in the throttle a little bit quicker than Scott and a little more throttle. And just ran on the back of him, unfortunately.
And this is the issue. And you'll see the 55 slide by right there. That was Dylan Kwasniewski. He was running in the 3rd spot. He takes the lead over. Stays out in front of the field. Chad Boat running 2nd. Mason Mingus is 3rd. Spencer Gallagher 4th. And John West Townley's made it all the way up to the top 5. Every weeknight on Fox Sports 1, join Kurt Menefee, Randy Moss, Brian Urlacher, Jake Glazer, and Mike Pereira for Fox Football Daily to get you caught up on all the news from on and off the field throughout the NFL and college. That's Fox Football Daily, weeknights, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. We'll be back for the green flag from Kansas Speedway in just a moment. Stay with us. And welcome back to Kansas Speedway. The field all in line. Lead lap cars on the outside. Lap down cars on the inside. Out in front of the lead lap cars, Dylan Kwasniewski in that Venturini number 55. Back into the gas he goes. Green flag back in the air.
See Chad Boat right now, the 84 car is in the 2nd spot. Chad had a very fast car. He was able to emerge from that tight battle there for the 4th spot. Now he has 2nd. Let's see if he can stay with Kwasniewski.
Again, the top 2 cars fighting for that top position. Got into the wall. That brought out our first caution. How about the run by Frank Kimmel? Looking to get by Tom Hessert on the restart. A great run for the 44.
Remember, Frank has a little bit of insurance. He stopped on lap number 19, so he knows he's good probably till about lap 80 or so, maybe even lap 90. With a few caution laps, he may be able to make it all the way. But if it goes all the way because of the rain.
Right. The possibility of that. Mason Mingus in the 32, doing everything he can to try to win that Rookie of the Year competition. Spencer Gallagher now looking to the inside for position.
How about John West Townley? Started at the back of the pack, and he's in this battle right here for the 3rd spot.
John West Townley, an impressive start to the 2013 season, wants to end it as impressively.
has really done a nice job in the Camping World Truck Series, driving for Red Horse Racing, the Zaxby's Toyota, crew chief Mike Beam. He's really had some solid finishes here, especially lately.
Stay side by side for position. Mason Mingus and Spencer Gallagher fighting for the third spot, and up the racetrack Spencer Gallagher has to go to chase it.
That was a nice save there. He could have easily taken out himself and Mason Mingus. A nice save by Spencer Gallagher.
While he was catching it, John West Townley was able to get in front of him. So John West Townley up into the fourth spot. Dylan Kwasniewski, your leader. Chad Boat second. Mason Mingus, Spencer Gallagher, and John West Townley, all your top five. And a guy who was racing for the lead and at the time was our leader now is in the infield with Ray. And apologize, some technical difficulties there. We'll get back to Ray as soon as we can. He is with Scott Lagasse Jr. Looks as though already out of the infield care center after that incident on the backstretch.
Meanwhile, Justin Boston jumps to the inside, goes down on the apron to try to get by Spencer Gallagher. That is a battle for the fifth spot.
Boston on the inside, Gallagher on the outside. And here comes that 44 of Kimmel as a little bobble by Justin Boston sends him up the racetrack just enough to open the door for Kimmel.
I think that's all Frank is going to need to be able to get by this 25 car, Justin Boston. Let's see if he can clear him down here in 3 and 4.
Get through the center of the turn. Kimmel has that position. Takes away the spot from Justin Boston and moves up into the top 5 for Frank Kimmel.
I know, talking to Frank Kimmel right before the race, he said, I think we have something to run with these guys. We saw 2 awfully good cars as we watched John West Townley get by Mason Mingus for the 3rd spot. He said, I think we have something to run with these guys. 2 of the best cars are already out of the race.
Kimmel restarted 10th on lap 23 after he came onto pit road. And the other driver involved in the incident to bring out our first caution standing by with Jim Trado.
They tried to make repairs, guys, but as he left pit road the last time, a lot of rear grease poured from underneath his Ford. Corey LaJoie back here in the garage, disappointed no doubt, but what did happen with the contact, Corey?
Oh, man, I got into him. I was a bonehead. I should have waited until, I don't know, any other lap but that one. You know, lap cars are so far off the pace that I just kind of put myself in a bad spot there. God, I hate it, man. It sucks. This Uncle John's Country Smoked Sausage, dang, Ford Fusion was really good, and my guys had to put it back together. We got loose all 4 earlier in practice and scuffed the fence a little bit, and these guys put it back together and got it really good. And I felt we had the car to beat, and I just traction broke, and the cable between the brain and the foot wasn't working so good. So, man, I just wanted to thank everybody for helping out and getting me here. So I don't really know when the next time I'm going to be in one of these things. So hopefully it's soon. But you know, days like today don't help my cows a whole lot.
That's Corey LaJoie, guys.
Thanks, Jim. You have to appreciate he owns up to it. He realized I made a mistake. It was too early in the race to be doing something like that. Just as you had mentioned, you have control of that throttle. He owns up to it. I do appreciate that, and a lot of talent. An unbelievable amount of talent with Corey LaJoie, winning 3 out of 5 races this year.
Yeah, 5 wins last year in the K&N Series. We know he's got a lot of talent. He's going to be in that position to go for wins again, and he's going to remember this, and he's going to learn from it.
Frank Kimmel has already claimed that 10th championship. We mentioned that it is the first championship for Thor Sport, and as a matter of fact, Duke Thorson is here and is cherishing that first championship. He's been a part of racing for quite some time, has been in the Camping World Truck Series for a very long time, but this is his first ever championship in auto racing.
He has a shot at another one, you know, with Matt Crefton, who's here, by the way, cheering on and helping Frank Kimmel, very much involved with that team during the practice session. I was down there talking to Matt, and he was interjecting some ideas and things like that, talking to Frank. He was very much involved with this team.
Spencer Gallagher able to get in front of Kimmel once again. So Gallagher up into that 5th spot. Kimmel running in the 6th position now. Justin Boston, Justin Allison, Tom Hessert, and Will Kimmel rounding out your top 10.
Been really impressed with that 88 car of Justin Allison. We talked about his first ever ARCA Racing Series start, and certainly has the great lineage, his grandfather Donnie Allison. So looking forward to a good run for him.
Now, is he a part of the Alabama gang?
He is a part of the Alabama gang.
You've got to fit him right in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's an Allison.
That's right. Out in front of this field, it's Dylan Kwasniewski. There you see Justin Allison in that 88. Has Tom Hessert Hessert running just behind him.
Yeah, anytime you can run with a guy like Tom Hessert, who's a perennial top 10 runner, top 5 finisher here in the series, you're doing pretty well. So Justin is doing a terrific job.
Tom Hessert, 3 wins in his career in the ARCA Racing Series, so a lot of talent behind the wheel of that 77 as well.
Comes in here 4th in points too, with a shot at possibly the 3rd place spot if Justin. Oh, trouble. Mason Mingus is involved.
Mason Mingus involved in this.
That was Roger Carter, the 97, that started that. You see some smoke coming from Mason Mingus's car. You see the damage on that front end of that call before you dig 811 Toyota. He's running in the 4th spot.
And this brings out the 2nd caution. A lot of damage to the left front. You see Roger Carter dropping the window net on that Dodge as he will climb out of that car.
See a little bit of damage to the front and a little bit of damage to the rear.
Left side tires both flat on that 97. So Roger Carter, after starting almost all the races in 2013, the only exception Chicago, he did not start. That now ends the season in this fashion.
Look at the damage on that 15 car, John West Townley. Right now he's running in the 3rd spot. This is going to be a great opportunity for all these other teams to come down pit road that didn't take advantage on that 1st caution flag like Frank Kimmel and some of the others did.
And with just 65 laps remaining, that is where we looked at probably the window as far as the fuel window being as far as making it to the end of this race. So we will probably see everyone with the exception of Frank Kimmel making their way onto pit road. And sure enough, Dylan Kwasniewski is leading the field onto pit road. We go to Ray Dunlap.
You know, keep in mind, Dylan Kwasniewski's never run on a 1.5 miles before, but he said he really likes the grip in this race car. It's good on entry, good through the center. So they're only going to make one small chassis change. Now let's go to Jim Trado.
Making a rally back up into the top 3 is John West Townley. We saw the big damage on the right side. They're going to worry about the Hoosier radials first. Getting fuel in this number 15 Zaxby's Toyota. Crew Chief Kevin Reed has piloted 4 different drivers to 6 victories this season, including John West Townley at the season opener at Daytona. No worries, no fender pulling here. 4 tires, and they'll give it a look on the right-hand side of the Zaxby's Toyota for John West Townley. Down and away, that damage apparently not enough to slow him down on the stop.
I saw the 25, Justin Boston, win the race off of pit road. At least looked like he was the first off of pit road. So a lot quicker stop for them. Maybe they didn't change tires.
Yeah, very possible. But they probably are in their window now to go the rest of the way.
This Mason Mingus, trying to avoid Roger Carter. Carter had spun on his own, and Mason Mingus didn't have anywhere to go. Thought the high line would be the way to go, but got pinched in between the wall and the 97.
You don't know whether he jumped on the brakes when that car spun in front of him and maybe slid the rear tires and then put him up there, but it almost looked like it could have been easy to dive down to the bottom.
Not the situation for Mason Mingus this time. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Fox Sports 1 is brought to you by Ansel Protective Products. For over 100 years, the world leader in hand protection.
2 cars stayed on the racetrack that time, Rick. Frank Kimmel and Mason Mitchell. They both pitted on lap number 19.
Trying to take advantage of the possibility of severe weather, which is in our area just off to our west a bit. They've been talking about it here in the Midwest for quite some time.
We're just about 13 laps from halfway in this race to make it an official race. That may be what Frank Kimmel's banking on.
I want to show you the radar and that front moving in just from the west of us, moving in a north to east fashion, and a lot of lightning strikes. And so because of that, we've had to ask some of our camera crew that were up on top of the press box. We have moved them off of the top of the press box because of this weather coming in.
I'm sure if we get any lightning or something like that, then the officials will put a stop to this race so they can clear the grandstands and
because of
out
that,
of harm's way.
Yeah, because of that, that's why it is so intense right now to be up front. Frank Kimmel stayed out on this most recent caution after coming in on lap 19. Could be the race-winning move.
You see it right there, going for number 80 for Frank Kimmel. He was in that tie.
Yep, he was in the 6th position, and the 82 was running 10th, and now they are 1 and 2. Frank Kimmel and Mason Mitchell. Again, under the caution for Roger Carter and Mason Mingus involved in this most recent caution. They're letting him know one more time around before we see the green flag once again.
By the way, right now, James Hilton up in the top 20 in his final race.
That is a spectacular sight. Can Frank Kimmel break that tie that he has with Iggy Katona and make history in Kansas by getting to victory lane? Field all in line behind 10-time champion Frank Kimmel. Getting ready for the green flag once again. Mason Mitchell, Justin Boston, Will Kimmel, John West Townley, your top 5. Then it's Milka Duno, Chad Boat, Dylan Kwasniewski, Spencer Gallagher, Bobby Graywall in your top 10.
I think right now Frank Kimmel would love to put as much distance as he can over those guys that came to pit road to put tires on. Dylan Kwasniewski leading this race, put 4 tires on. He restarts 8.
Green flag back in the air. We're back underway. Great restart for the 44 of Kimmel. On lap 39, the halfway point to get over halfway would be lap 50.
See, right now the 55 of Dylan Kwasniewski is hung in behind some other cars. Frank Kimmel is going.
How urgent will these drivers be? If the crew chiefs are looking at the radar, it will be immediate.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no need holding anything back now.
Kimmel has the lead over Mason Mitchell by about 0.4 of a second. Justin Boston, first off of pit road. Of the cars that went to pit road, he's running in the 3rd spot. Will Kimmel is 4th.
John West Townley's looking to the inside, trying to get a run. Oh, we got a spinner.
And around goes that 85, or excuse me, 86 of Bobby Graywall. And the caution comes out again. They'll re-rack him and try once more.
Yeah, you may wonder why the ARCA Racing Series threw out the caution flag, because there was no guarantee that he wasn't going to turn back around and go back towards the racetrack. So I know they want to get to halfway as quick as they can, but you can't take a chance on that.
Safety always comes first. And so that means that Bobby Graywall will tack back into the bottom or the back of the longest line, which will be the lead lap cars. And Kimmel will have to try it one more time. Try to stay out in front of Mason Mitchell.
But a few laps in the books anyway, getting closer to that halfway point. See, Bobby was running up in the top 10. See, check right side of your screen. You see him, he's pretty much all by himself.
Way up the racetrack.
There was a 3-wide battle in front of him. Let's take another look. This is Mason Mitchell's on board. You see, he makes a little bit of contact with Mark Thompson. Mark was probably just trying to give the 86 a little bit of room. They made slight contact.
And so we'll try again. 3 cautions have come out in Kansas. 40 laps complete. Kimmel closing in on win 8. Tuesday, catch an all-new episode of the show critics are calling brutally honest and the most revealing portrait of Tyson yet. If you think you know him, think again. Don't miss an all-new episode of Being Mike Tyson. It's Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern right here on Fox Sports 1. An incredible fighter in Mike Tyson, and right now Frank Kimmel fighting for that 80th win. Just behind him a couple spots, the 25 of Justin Boston, Jim.
And he did come down pit road, guys. It was a 2-tire change that gave him all that track position. He wanted more traction from the center of the Torter off. They just talked over this most recent caution. They feel after the tires get the heat built up, it'll improve for him and he'll move forward in that 25 Loop Toyota.
So Justin Boston won the race off of pit road. The 2 that stayed out, Frank Kimmel and Mason Mitchell running just in front of him.
Kwasniewski was able to gain 2 spots in that brief period of green flag racing. Now he will restart 6th.
Field all behind the 44 of Kimmel as he comes into the start zone. Green flag back in the air.
Mason Mitchell, that 82 car is right there.
Staying right on the back bumper of Kimmel as they enter turn number 1. Kwasniewski caught up behind one of the slower lap cars. Again, they start on the inside line.
Actually lost a spot to the 23 of Spencer Gallagher.
Gallagher able to get by him. We're riding along with that 82 of Mason Mitchell. Side by side for position. John West Townley to the inside of Will Kimmel.
Tell you, that 15 car of John West Townley is very, very fast. I think if he got up there with Frank, he may have a shot. He just took over the 4th spot. May have a shot at running with Frank. Ooh, Spencer Gallagher gets real loose.
And almost up to the wall goes that 23 of Spencer Gallagher, able to hold on to it, though. Gets back into the gas as he works his way through 1 and 2. Now 3 and 4.
Him feathering the gas a little bit there. Make sure the rear of that car is up underneath him. Did an outstanding job at Kentucky in the last mile and a half we had.
Battle for 3rd is underway. Justin Boston has the spot. Here comes John West Townley in the 15.
Is John West just going to drive around the outside?
Using the momentum, trying to get by on the high side.
Tell you, watch out for that 15 car, Rick.
Very strong. Also came onto pit road. Another one of the Venturini Motorsports entries. John West Townley, as I mentioned before, won at Daytona, wants to bookend the season with victories.
Been a pretty eventful day for John West. We saw him spin out during qualifying, had to go to the back of the pack for fresh tires, made his way up into the top 10 in 2 or 3 laps, it seemed like.
And now battling in the top 3. And it looks like that one explodes. The 84 Chad Boat. Engine goes away. No caution as of yet. He got right off the racetrack. A lot of smoke on the track, so they will throw the caution.
There was a little bit of fire underneath that car, so I'm sure that was coming through the firewall. So Chad wisely just stopped that car.
He was climbing out. He was running in the 15th spot.
Something may have been going wrong with that car because Chad was running awfully well early on. He's really done a nice job. Top 5 finishes, 3 of the last 4 starts.
And now the 4th caution out, all the way down to the apron. And it blew as he hit the apron. That's you probably felt something going on.
Yeah, and again, he was running back in the 15th spot. Obviously had some sort of an issue because that car was really, really good. We saw him running up in the top 3 earlier. When that engine went, it went.
Pretty wise for that 21-year-old to stay right down on the apron. If he put any fluid down, it was on the apron, and the track crew will get to him. And you see the red box. That might mean a warning.
Yeah, of some sort. Maybe a warning that John West Townley's coming. Or,
warning Frank Kimmel, he's on his way.
I mean, he's fast, so right now he's up to 3rd. We get this next restart here, he's going to be right there, right behind the 82 of Mason Mitchell.
We continue to mention the halfway point. We've completed 46 laps. It becomes official if you get to the halfway point, and that's, I think, what everyone saw this storm building behind us to the east or to the west. They thought, well, if we can get up front by the halfway point, if that storm does come through, they might potentially call it at halfway and we get the victory.
Yeah, great strategy by Frank Kimmel and Mason Mitchell. They both pitted on lap number 19. They're good to go probably for another 40 laps, but if we can go that far. Right now, you said, well, he got off the racetrack, but these guys are running down on the apron of this racetrack on the front stretch, so they have to get it cleaned up.
How about the 48, James Harvey Hilton, back there making his final start in the ARCA Racing Series, final start in stock cars. And at the drivers' meeting earlier today, he was presented a trophy, more or less. It was a beautiful portrait that had different years, banners of different years that he had been racing and the different accomplishments that he had been able to achieve in his racing career. And Mike Helton, president of NASCAR, and Ron Drager, the president of ARCA, gave that to James Hilton at the drivers' meeting. It was a very fitting tribute to a man who's been so instrumental in this sport.
Yeah, and given his entire life. I mean, we talked to him at length in the garage area, and he just wants to race and wants to be around racing. And doesn't, just because he's ending this part of his career at 79, he doesn't want to stop. He wants to put a young driver in and keep going.
Ray had mentioned earlier, 3 times he finished 2nd in the points championship. 1 time to David Pearson, twice to Richard Petty. Has had a phenomenal career. Decided that ARCA Racing was where he wanted to end his career, and he's been running with the ARCA series for quite some time now. Has put a lot of races in. Knew that he wasn't going to be out there winning races, but the adrenaline of being behind the wheel and being able to get out there and race just kept fueling him every day.
You know, there's another guy that runs a number 48. His name is Jimmy Johnson. He said he smiles every time he sees James Hilton driving that number 48.
So impressive. So they continue to clean up the racetrack. Again, that is from the oil that was put down on the apron. They'll get that cleaned up. Hopefully we'll get back to green flag. Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. Still under our 4th caution. Frank Kimmel in front of the field. Mason Mitchell. Those two came in on lap 19. The rest of the field came in after lap 35. John West Townley has made his way up into the 3rd spot. And lap 50. That means we are at the halfway point of this race. If that storm were to come through, it would mean that this could be considered an official race.
And I think, you know, Frank's won 79 races, and I don't think it would bother him to take a win
it was short.
If it rains.
No, I don't think he would.
He won plenty of the full distance.
And I'm sure that races have been taken away from him by other drivers that have been out front when rains come. And you see the crossed flags indicating to the drivers that it is halfway. They've passed the halfway point. And we keep an eye on the radar as an imminent storm is just off to our west.
If we can just keep this thing going a little bit there, you see it's
tracking us.
Yes, it's coming towards us.
It's right on us, and obviously the red is a little bit more intense. This one was intense from the drop of the green flag. Mark Martin, James Harvey Hilton.
Mark's just a kid. Mark's just a kid.
That might be a driver that James tries to recruit. He said he's going to go for a younger driver.
How about Chad Bode on the very start of the race, makes a little bit of contact with Kwasniewski, and here comes Scott Lagasse to the lead.
Lagasse goes to the inside. He jumps out front and takes the lead away. Then on lap 17, while the 17 of Corey LaJoie and Scott Lagasse Jr., those two are fighting for the lead. LaJoie gets into the back of the 22, lifts it up just ever so slightly. Around goes the 22, both into the wall, both of them out of this race.
Yeah, Corey said the string broke in between his foot and his brain, unfortunately. Took full blame for it. Unfortunate, trying for win number 4.
That allowed Kwasniewski to get out front. Then Mason Mingus in the 32 had been running so strong, got caught behind Roger Carter in the 97 and looked as though he was going to try to take the high line. He chose wrong, as some damage to the left front of that race car.
Then our most recent caution flag was when the 84 of Chad Bode's engine expired big time right at the start-finish line.
Flames rolling out from underneath the hood and underneath that car. We saw Chad Bode climb out, and the safety crew's immediately getting to him and taking care of the apron, trying to get that fluid taken care of. Pretty good crowd here, knowing that there's a storm. Welcome back to Kansas Speedway. The 2014 season just around the corner. February 15th, 2014. It'll kick it all off once again from Daytona International Speedway. And they will be right there, a part of the Fox Sports family. But James Harvey Hilton on the front row, even though he's a lap down.
And I'm sure there's a smile on Frank Kimmel's face seeing James right there beside him.
Getting ready for the green flag once again. Frank Kimmel out in front. Mason Mitchell running second. John West Townley, Justin Boston, Will Kimmel, your top 5. Green flag back in the air.
Good restart. How many restarts you think Frank Kimmel has had the lead on in his career?
Well, he's won 79 races, and I would say that among the other 600 or so starts, he's been out front.
I mean,
75 or 80% of those.
Yeah,
so yeah,
hundreds of times.
Hundreds of times.
So you wouldn't expect him to make a mistake, then, would you?
You would not expect it. And right now he stays mistake-free as he runs out in front of Mason Mitchell and John West Townley. As we documented earlier, though, John West Townley had to start at the back of this field. He's been able to methodically move up and looks like has one of the stronger cars in the field tonight.
Good move by Will Kimmel in that Messina Wildlife Ford. That's Frank's nephew, Will, to take over that 4th spot from Justin Boston, and he brought Dylan Kwasniewski with him.
Dylan Kwasniewski, after winning the pole earlier today, making his first career start in the ARCA Racing Series, has moved up into the 5th spot.
Yeah, Justin Boston was running 5th there. Now he has lost that spot to Dylan Kwasniewski. He's back to 6th.
Kimmel, Mitchell, Townley, Will Kimmel, Boston, Kwasniewski. And Kwasniewski going all the way down to the apron, trying to take the spot away from Will Kimmel.
Close racing back here 3 wide for a moment. The 99 of Stephen Matthews, 32 of Mason Mingus in a good battle. Josh Williams is 0-2 right behind them.
We're being told that ARCA Racing officials have told the teams that the checkered flag is going to come out in 10 laps. Because of that storm, It is right behind us, folks. I'm not kidding you. It's just a few miles away from us. They do not want to put anyone in danger, including the fans, so they have told the teams they are racing for the final 10 laps here. Checkered flag will come out at lap 65.
Yeah, and if the caution flag were to come out before then, that would be the end of the race. So we're going to go up to 10 more laps.
So Frank Kimmel out in front, looking for that 80th win, a milestone very few thought could ever be achieved. Iggy Katona put that mark up so many years ago, and Frank Kimmel has been able to continue to rip off win after win after win, championship after championship, looking for 80 tonight.
And Jared Prince's strategy worked, because no matter what happens, he's going to have enough fuel to get to the end of this race. And if the caution flag comes out, his race is going to be over anyway. He's in great shape for win number 80.
So Frank Kimmel in front. Mason Mitchell runs second. John West Townley is third. There off to the left of the screen, you see that storm on its way. Very close now. A matter of time before it hits here, and that's why ARCA racing officials have made the wise decision. 8 laps of racing to go.
Obviously, Frank has a very, very fast car, but probably in some of those 879 other ones, he probably outsmarted some people then, too.
So Kimmel running out front. The first that had been on pit road after lap 15, John West Townley holding on to the 3rd spot. He's still 1.3 seconds back. Mason Mitchell holding on to that 2nd position.
This could be such an amazingly historic race here if Frank is able to get to victory lane and win number 80.
And Kimmel has won here before. He's been to victory lane twice, back in 2002 and 2006. He won. That was a different configuration as far as the track surface. They resurfaced it 2 years ago.
I'm sure this win number 80 is going to rival maybe that win number 1 in 1994 up on his list of important victories.
Still a lot of racing going on behind him.
Yeah, we can't give it to him yet, by the way.
Kimmel out in front of Mitchell. Riding along with this Loop 25, Justin Boston. He's trying to track down Will Kimmel just in front of him.
Good run there off of turn number 4 down through the front stretch for Justin.
See Will Kimmel able to get into the turn just a little bit deeper than Justin Boston.
Justin able to get off the corner a little bit better. Had to pedal the throttle just a little bit there on exit. See Spencer Gallagher, that pink Legionnaire Chevrolet right behind that group. He runs in the 7th spot right now.
Will Kimmel trying to hold off that 25 of Justin Boston. Boston looked just for a moment down on the apron to the inside of the 69. Now he's got his fender to the inside of that left rear quarter panel of Will Kimmel and making his way by as they go down the backstretch.
Dead even right now. Spencer Gallagher is going to join that battle. Which way is he going to go?
Gallagher to the inside of Will Kimmel. Can't stay in the gas as long. Has to check up. Falls back behind Will Kimmel as they make their way across the stripe once again. All 3 drivers down to the apron into the speedy try.
Will Kimmel does not want to give up that top 5 spot. He battles back and gets back by Justin Boston.
Will Kimmel fighting to the inside, has the spot away from Justin Boston. Here comes Spencer Gallagher looking to the inside of the 25 for that spot.
Remember, these guys know that this is the last 5 laps of the season for them.
4 to go. Will Kimmel just in front of Spencer Gallagher. Justin Boston running behind them. 5th, 6th, and 7th continuing to change positions. Inside of 3 laps to go. Kimmel has almost a 2-second lead over 2nd place Mason Mitchell. Then John West Townley, another 2nd back to him. Will Kimmel almost seemed a little bit, or excuse me, Frank Kimmel almost seemed a little bit nervous today. 2 laps of racing to go before the start of this one. Knew he had a car that could be in contention to win this race. But what a milestone it will be if he's able to hold on for these final 2 laps.
Really incredible. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to watch as we watch a 3-ride battle. A lot of Iggy Katona's victories back in the 60s and 70s.
Justin Boston in that 25, still trying to take the spot away from the 69 of Will Kimmel.
We've got a top 5 at stake right here.
Who's going to claim it? Boston on the inside, Kimmel on the outside, riding along with Spencer Gallagher. White flag has gone in the air. One more time around for the 44 of Frank Kimmel. The side-by-side battle continues for fifth as Kimmel works his way down the backstretch. Kimmel enters turn number 3. The final turn as he comes out of turn number 4 with his 10th championship in his pocket. This is the historic 80th win for Frank Kimmel.
Outstanding job by Mason Mitchell to finish second for the second consecutive race. John West Townley from the back finishes third.
That fight for the Rookie of the Year is going to go to Justin Boston. He will have the most points.
Great season for Justin Boston, as well as Mason Mingus. But how about that guy right there driving that Ansel Menard's Toyota, Frank Kimmel?
In the days leading up to the race, as a television production crew, we talk about what happens if he wins the race and the championship. We're going to find out right after this commercial break. He did it. Frank Kimmel wins at Kansas. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Fox Sports 1 is brought to you by Scott Prep and Cleanup Solutions for contractors, DIYers, and moms. All available at Menards.
What an outstanding effort this year for Frank Kimmel. He's the 2000 ARCA champion.
And the defending ARCA Series champion makes it 4 wins in a row. Kimmel picks up his 27th career ARCA victory.
Pretty much rewriting the ARCA record book right now.
Frank Kimmel is going to win this race.
That's win number 5 out of 6 in the dirt track world. He's the king for sure.
An extremely big night for Frank Kimmel.
Unbelievable, really, that we won this race.
I'm sure Frank Kimmel's loving life right now.
Frank Kimmel wanting to leave his mark here at Talladega.
First ever restrictor plate victory.
Well, tremendous victory for that team.
As Frank Kimmel begins his celebration, it will be win number 75 for Frank Kimmel.
Obviously, that 44 car was the car to beat at the end of the race.
Kimmel gets his 77th career win.
The veteran Frank Kimmel, 79th career victory, tying Iggy Katona all-time in the ARCA Racing Series for wins.
And tonight, it was the record-breaking win. Number 80 for Frank Kimmel as he crosses the start-finish line in a rain-shortened race with his 10th championship already in hand. Now he's able to celebrate that record-breaking win, number 80. The only driver in the modern era to finish all of the races on the schedule in the top 10. Frank Kimmel in 469 starts, now with 80 wins. Let's hear from the race winner and champion. He's with Jim Trado.
And this is the trophy that sets the mark in ARCA history. 80th victory here at Kansas Speedway. All time ever, Frank. You came on the radio and said, guys, I don't know how to thank you. What are your thoughts right now in victory lane after winning your 80th ARCA race?
Exactly what I said. I just don't know what to say. You know, they worked their ass off for me. Great race cars. Duke Thorson, Duke's here, and couldn't do without him. Couldn't do without Ansel Menards. And to come out here with 80 wins and the championship, just an absolute perfect season.
We've got one more trophy. Give me that one, because ARCA President Ron Drager is walking in with the Champions Trophy, celebrating Frank's unprecedented 10th championship. Frank Kimmel and Ron Drager sharing a moment here that will go down in history. Kimmel, 10-time champion with 80 wins, all-time leader here in the ARCA Racing Series, presented by Menards.
Look at the point standings. Frank Kimmel, a dominant 2013 season. His 10th championship puts him in the same category as the Montreal Canadiens, the New York Yankees, Boston Celtics, all teams that have won over 10 championships, and now Kimmel put his name in that list.
What the health of the series. You see the young guys, Mason Mingus, Justin Boston, up there in the top 5. A lot of health in this series for a lot of years to come.
And we saw some impressive young drivers that had problems early, but we expect to see a lot more of them later throughout their careers.
Yeah, we certainly will. Corey LaJoie made a name for himself this year with 3 wins. I tell you, Dylan Kwasniewski says he's going to be a force to be reckoned with on super speedways.
But the story has to end with the most successful driver ever in the ARCA Racing Series, Frank Kimmel. Now let's go to LA at Fox Sports Live.